What is going on, my fellow gamers, and welcome to today's video. We are on episode 7 of the Farm Wars tutorial series. Now, if you've not seen the Farm Wars series, I suggest going and taking a look at it, as it will help you determine which one of these farms is right for you. Today, we are going to be looking at kelp farms. This one was done by Cubfan. I will leave a link in the description. I am not going to build this big of one for the tutorial. I'm going to simply do 2 layers just to kind of show you how to stack it upon itself and then cap it off to get your water to push things to the middle. So I'm going to grab a stack of redstone, a stack of observers, a stack of pistons, 2 water buckets for an infinite water source, 2 chests, 3 hoppers, about 3 stacks of glass. You will need probably half a stack of kelp if you're doing the 2 layers. And then I'm going to grab 3 stacks of building blocks. Alright, we're going to start out by laying out a line 9 across. So we should have 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. From this block right here, we're going to go this way 18. Okay, same thing on this side. And then we're going to match the 2 together. Alright, now we're going to come to our center area. Come out 2 blocks, and on your 3rd block there and 3rd block there, we're going to lay in a line of glass. Just like that. Now we're going to come over here, leave this open. So starting right here, we're going to place our pistons in facing us. Make sure you actually put it on top of the wall. And then leave a gap right here at the end as well. Flip around, do the same thing to the other side. Just like that. Okay, we're going to jump up here on top of our pistons, and we are going to set a line of solid blocks directly behind all of our pistons. Okay, then we're going to grab our observers, and we're going to place our observers on top of each one of our pistons. We want the face of the observer looking into the farm with a little red dot pointing backwards. Okay, once all your observers are down, we're going to lay our line of redstone dust directly behind all the observers. Then you can go ahead and jump on top of your observer and bring the wall up by 2. Now I usually put glass right here so I can actually see the kelp growing. So we'll bring that up by 2, all the way across and down. Alright, we're going to repeat the same thing with the observers and the solid blocks on this side of the farm. So we're going to drop down and we're going to put our solid blocks on the back of all these pistons. Alright, now for our observers, just like on the other side, we want the faces to be facing into the farm. Alright, once we have all this set in, this is what you should be looking like as of right now. We're going to go inside of here. We're going to put water there and there, and then all the way down. And then it will even itself out as an entire water source. Once you hit the other side, go ahead and do the same thing, there, and then all the way down again. And one final time. And then we're going to repeat the same process with the water on the other side. Alright, once we have water in all the way across and it's all water source, we're going to come back in with our kelp, and we are going to plant kelp down in front of each piston. And then the same thing on the other side. Alright, and then if you want to extend this upwards, you will simply come over, place down solid blocks on top of your redstone dust, and then anywhere that there's an observer with a solid block, you will place a piston facing you on top of that solid block. Just like so. Then we can raise this up. Come on the back side of your pistons again. And place in your solid blocks. And once again, observers on top of the pistons. And of course, redstone dust behind the observers. Go ahead and raise this up. Make sure you raise your glass up as well. And then we're going to repeat what we just did here over here. Alright. Now we're ready to plant our kelp, which is going to go directly on top of the lower end observers. Now for every level you go up, you will basically do the exact same thing. You'll just solid blocks on top of your redstone and just repeat the process and go as high as you wish. So I'm going to get the water and kelp laid in here, and then I will show you how to cap it off and let everything flow to your central area where your collection area can be, or will be. Alright, now that we've got our kelp and our water in both layers that we're going to be doing, we want to raise this up. Now, this is if you are done building on the farm, you're going to cap it off the way I'm capping it off. So we're going to run our solid blocks on top of our observers here. Bringing this up by a level. Right, make sure that you're filling in the glass area as well. Okay, and then we are going to fill this in with water on top. As long as you hit 3 blocks on either side as well as an entire wall, it will create an entire infinite water source. Just like that. Then we are going to set out another row of just solid block around the outer edge. Do not do a second layer on the glass. Alright, now one thing to note is as of right now we are only 4 blocks long. So if I was to put the roof on right now and put my water in, the water would simply flow over our little block. So I do believe Cubfan made his 6 levels tall to accommodate it being 8 for the water stream. So what I have to do for tutorial purposes is extend this bit right here out so it will actually end up pushing the kelp into our collection point. Alright, now that I've got it set to where my water should flow from that back wall to the edge of this glass, we're going to put in a row of upper half slabs. And don't worry about it breaking water sources because the upper half slabs just end up being waterlogged as you're doing this, so it does not break the water source down below. Once you have it to where it is 8 long and that water stops right at the edge of the glass, you're going to come back and fill in the back wall. In only the back wall. So everything gets pushed straight to that central line. Then you're going to come back in and recycle your half slab. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Alright. As you can tell, that one has a slight overhang on the back to accommodate the 8, because I believe I only went up 5 layers. Yeah, I went up 5 layers. So if you want your water stream on top to be correct without having to have an overhang, 6 layers up is what you want to do. Now, in here, you can run a hopper minecart or just run a bucket of water with a water stream that will push the items into a hopper collection system and down into your chests. I do believe in Cubfan's video, he actually has it ran into a super smelter to dry the kelp. Just like that, and then we're going to put glass there, or you can actually put dirt back right there if you wish. There. And then a solid block right there. And glass right there. And that is how you build farm number 1. Let me empty my inventory and we will go take a look at how to build farm number 2. Alright, for farm number 2, we are going to need, or you're going to need 9 stacks of glass, 5 stacks of non-stickable blocks, a stack in 8 of pumpkins, 12 chests, 6 hoppers, 12 observers. Now you can do 24 observers, but to reduce the overall cost, I brought it down to 12. The observers, the 12 observers or 24 observers are for Java users only. This is the Java firing mechanism, Bedrock. I will show you guys how to get yours to fire toward the end of the video. You will need 2 stacks in 16 of slime blocks, 12 sticky pistons, 2 repeaters, a stack and a half redstone dust, 2 stacks of building blocks, some kelp, infinite water source, and about 3 1/4 stacks of slabs. Now, the 2 comparators down in the bottom will be for bedrock users. Bedrock users, you will also need an additional 2 hoppers, 2 additional sticky pistons, a redstone block, and 5 stacks of whatever you want to put into an ether hopper clock. So I'm going to grab some of the materials and we're going to head this way. Alright, one very important thing with this design is you want to mark out where your central channel is going to be. So I'm putting 2 temporary blocks right there. I'm going to go 2 and 2. And I left some glass behind. Then we are going to put a piece of glass there, a piece of glass there. We are then going to come off of the glass on both sides and come down 12 blocks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Same thing over here. One too many. Okay, I'm going to go glass, glass, block, 5 across. Okay, now we're going to, on this Java users only, we are going to dig a trench in front of our rows of leaves, 3 blocks down. Did not mean to break that one out. There we go. Alright, once you have your trench dug out, go ahead and grab your observers. And again, if you're using the 24 observers, you're going to place an observer everywhere there is a leaf block. If you're using the 12, you will simply come through and put one down every other block. Just like that. And we're going to get our dirt that we just dug up, and we're going to put a line back in and run our redstone dust on top of that dirt. Dig out an additional 2 blocks right there, and we're going to stair step our way up right here as our way out, and leave that open for right now because we'll use it here in just a bit. Now right here, right when we turn, we're going to put a repeater right there on 2 ticks. Then we're going to put a redstone dust right there. We're going to block that up, put a block there, and I actually had to knock out the glass that we had right there, so I have to put that back. So we're going to put the glass back, come over, fill that in. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side as we just did on this side. Okay, now that we have all that laid in, we're going to come down here and put a temporary block there and there. We're going to grab our sticky pistons, put a sticky piston there, a sticky piston there. Go ahead and grab your slime blocks now, and we're going to run a slime block above every non-stickable block that we have currently laid out. Just like that. Go ahead and hop up here, and you can actually put a leaf block on the ends right there, and then we're going to run more leaf blocks on top of these slime blocks. Same as right there. You can put another one right there. Now, if you would like to stack this on top of itself, you can go ahead and put in a second row of leaf blocks like I'm doing right now. So you have 2 high on the leaf blocks. Then you'll grab your pumpkins and put your pumpkins right there just above your slime. Now, if you don't want to take this up more than a single level, you can either use pumpkins or you can use leaves. You would simply just run a row of pumpkins or leaves directly off of, or directly above where the slime comes out, off of these, and then cap it off, which I'll show here in a little bit. Now, if you are raising it up, these leaves right here, I do apologize, I got a little ahead of myself. You actually want to put down temporary blocks right here for right now. Now, if you have additional slime blocks on you, they're going to be the easiest to use in survival since they break instantly in survival. But we can go ahead and bring this portion up just like that. Make sure to yeah, then we're good right there. And then I'm going to fill this in with glass just like that. Glass, glass. Oh, don't want glass there. I'm actually going to swap our 3 initial blocks for glass. Glass all that in. Alright, then you're going to get your water bucket. You're going to come in and we're going to flood using the floor. Try not to waterlog your leaves to get this bottom flooded. And then we're going to come through and flood this middle section as well. Okay, so now our lower level is flooded. We're going to go ahead and work on getting the other bits flooded. Just like that. And then while we were down here, anywhere there is a slime block, we want to put down our kelp. Now, bedrock users, all of this should still be dirt or grass or whatever block it is that you are currently using to plant your kelp on. Okay, now we're going to come up top. We're going to come over here. We're going to put a temporary block right there. We're going to put a sticky piston right there. Go ahead and lay our slime in on top of our temporary blocks. And you will see why they are remaining temporary blocks here in just a minute. Temporary block, sticky piston, and slime block. Now, we can go ahead, grab our glass back, bring this up by one more. Need a grass block right there, grass block right there. And then we can put our solid blocks right next to that. Then we want our leaf blocks on top of the slime again. And right there. Get all this nice and leveled out. Leaf block, regular block, leaf blocks, regular, and finally glass. Alright, now we're going to come in and we are going to flood this entire bottom area right here. That is why these were temporary blocks, because now we have to knock them out and replace them with leaf block. Okay. And we're going to flood this. Just line it up against your slime. Just like that. Okay, and we are actually going to cap the farm right here. So we're going to put on that additional layer of leaves coming out, because I'm only taking it up 2 layers in the tutorial. And then we will plant our kelp on top of our pumpkins. Just like that. Okay, then we're going to come out and we are going to raise this up by 2 blocks. All the way around. Okay, once we have it all the way raised up, we're going to come back and we are going to flood just above the leaf block. Okay, just like that. And we're going to grab our half slabs and we're going to come in and put our half slabs just like this. Okay, now we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 from that side. So we're going to drop our water buckets right there. We're going to turn around and match on the other side. As you can see, it creates a water stream that pushes both directions. Now, one thing to note with this form, and I've not figured out how to fix it, is you will occasionally get kelp that gets stuck right in a 1 pixel area, and I have no idea how to stop it from doing that. Go ahead and break those 3 glass and those 3 glass. But as you can tell, if I was to throw items in, they immediately get shot off either side. So we are going to now break our slabs. And what I recommend doing is taking your glass and bringing it off by 1 or off by 2 and kind of wrapping this and making a drop chute. Otherwise, the kelp has a tendency to get slung off, and this just allows it to stay within the actual collection point itself. Now we can get rid of that block and that block. Yeah, you can see if you don't have a way of stopping it, the kelp ends up launching clear over here. So we'll do the same thing to this side. Give it a nice wrap around. Alright, so that is the central area almost done. The only thing we have to do is connect up our redstone. So we are going to grab some half slabs. And we have a redstone dust right there. So what I like to do is I knock that out, put that as a place marker, and we're going to come off of that by 2. Now, if you want the side cells, you would stick a block here and here, a piston here, a piston here, and repeat the process for building a single-sided cell. Now we need to get this redstone up to these pistons, so we're going to put a temporary slab there, bring it out by 1. Then we're going to not do that, put that there, and you want another half slab attached to that block right there, and just stair step it up. Alright, in order to get it up top, we're going to come right here, temporary slab, full slab, temporary slab, full slab, or permanent slab, redstone dust, and redstone dust up here. That will actually connect all those pistons together. And you would repeat the same process on this side for the second side cell. So now, anytime those kelp grew or attempted to grow, it would actually detect it and cause the system to fire. I had my random tick speed set to 0 so I didn't get bounced around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build one side module just to show you how to connect to a collection point, because our collection is going to end up being right here. With our double chests and hoppers. And you'd actually want this setup on both ends of the farm. Now, to set up your side pod, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to run 12 slime blocks off of your sticky piston, leaf blocks underneath, leaf blocks on top, 12 slime blocks off of that sticky piston. And then again, you want to use temporary blocks here, so when we flood it, it's easier just to punch out a slime block and replace it with a leaf block after it's flooded. But we want to come off of this by 2 blocks. Make sure to put your leaf blocks on the side of the slime with the piston. So we're off of that by 2 blocks again. Now, this one does not need to have that big of a gap. So we're going to end up with our kelp here, our actual water collection here, which means that our glass wall can go right there on the 3rd block off. So we're just going to go ahead and fill all this in with glass right there, and bear in mind that this is going to get knocked out and replaced with leaf block. Since it's going to be 2 layers in here, we're going to go ahead and put our pumpkins in right there. Then we're going to start the flooding process. Just make sure that you're either using the glass side or hitting the ground. It's actually honestly easier just to use the glass side than it is to aim for the ground, because you could still potentially hit the leaves. But we're going to end up flooding this entire pod with water. Okay, just like so. Then you're going to want to punch out your temporary blocks, or break out your temporary blocks depending on what you used, and quickly replace it with the slime, or with the leaves, excuse me. Then we want to put our leaf blocks on top of these slime blocks, and since this is going to be the end of it, we're going to run a double layer of actual building block on top, just like we did with that. Okay, then same thing, we're going to run a row of leaves right there, just as a ceiling for the kelp. And we're going to flood this level. Oops. That level right there. And one last time, straight across right here. There we go. And same thing, we're going to take our half slabs, fill it in. That is 8, and that one would be 8 from that way. We can actually look at the central area and tell. Same thing, water there, there, and there. And it does the same thing as the other one. Splits it off to 2 separate directions. Break that and that. Break that and that. And then the same thing, just make y'all a little ring so that your kelp does not go flying off in whichever direction. And then you want to go ahead and dig yourself a little trench. Drop in a water bucket, and as you can tell, that's going to run straight over where one of our collection points is going to be at. So we're going to go ahead and get our chests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our hoppers. And put glass down on top of those. Now the other, if you did this side of the pod, or this side with a pod, then the water stream would end up coming in over that hopper. And don't forget to do what I just did, and forget to plant your kelp inside your farm. Alright, and that is that now complete. If for any reason you see that you have kelp floating on the sidewall, block your way up, come in, and just drop some water sources along that wall, and it should end up floating up to the top. But again, if you wish to add the additional side pod, just reverse what we did over here to over here. And again, you can stack this thing as high as you want to go. If you end up building, I believe it is 3 levels up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 levels. With the left and right side pod and the central unit for a total of 12 pistons, you will end up with 192 slots for kelp for the cost of 12 observers and 12 pistons. Bedrock users, since you guys, or I shouldn't say you guys, I should say since bedrock is just a little odd, or wants to be odd, and does not detect when kelp grows on the face of an observer, we are required to use an etho hopper clock. Honestly, it's honestly extremely simple to build. What we need to do is where Java users will have dust right here, you do not need that dust right there. You can actually break that and fill that hole back in. What we need to do is come up and over the water trench, and then off, since there would be a water trench here, you'd essentially do the same thing. Bring it to the center, out by 1. Come right here, observer, red dot, facing in. Where did our repeaters go? Now, the 2 repeaters that we have, that Java has underground, you will not need. Your 2 repeaters will actually be up here, right there on 4 ticks, right there on 4 ticks. Redstone block. Where did our sticky pistons go? Right there. Sticky piston there, sticky piston there. Hopper, hopper into hopper. Comparator, comparator. Block, block, dust, dust. 5 stacks of items. And as you saw, that causes it to fire every 3.5 minutes, something like that. But that is how Bedrock has to get it to fire. Java users can do it the same way. If you do not wish to use observers, you can simply use the Ethel Hopper clock and save yourself 24 observers, 12 observers, or however many observers you wish, or however many observers you used. That is going to be it for this episode, guys. If you found anything in this video helpful, or you want to see more Farm Wars tutorials, then make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. If you wish to talk about Minecraft Redstone, or any other game in general, feel free to join my Discord, where you can connect with other gamers such as yourself. Until next time, I hope to see you guys there. Bye for now.